If you're struggling right now, if you can prove to yourself that being down won't define you, the resistance you're going through right now isn't going to control you, all you have to do is prove to yourself that you're still in the fight. That is the strongest version of you. Not whenever you have the 10-pack. That's not you at your strongest. You're the strongest when you're at your fattest and decide to do something about it. Find the strength in self-respect and self-pride in the fact that I'm going to do something today in my weakest point to prove to myself that I'm not as weak as this in my head is telling me that I am. Because there's an in all of our heads that is telling us we're a weak failure. They're saying you can't do it. They're saying nothing's going to work out. As soon as you take a stand and fight that guy, you feel really good and strong. Crazy. Us guys, we tie so much of our value to the work that we do, to our accomplishments in our careers. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's just how we're wired. And a lot of times our wives value themselves based on the state of the relationship with us. That's what they get their pride from. How's my babe doing? And we get our pride from like what are we accomplishing? What are we creating in our work? And then it's a crazy cycle that happens, because if the work takes a downturn, a lot of times you'll feel about yourself, and then when you feel about yourself, you'll seek things out that make you feel good right now to cure and medicate that feeling away. And what are the things that make you feel good right now? Well, they're the things that sabotage you and make you feel again. It's like if you say you go for like 2 weeks, you're off your macros, you put on 10 pounds, and like all of a sudden your pants aren't fitting good, and you feel like, and then like my daughter just had a birthday, they had pizza, and then you're eating like 6 slices of pizza, and then you just feel even worse, you're bloated, and now you feel like you don't want to look at yourself in the mirror, so you're full of shame, and then you're like, well, how do I make myself feel good right now eating another slice of pizza because it tastes good? I want, or have a drink, or have another slice of, then you end up doing the thing that caused you to feel like in the first place, because it gives you that like 1 minute of dopamine, and then the 1 minute passes and you feel like again. And then sometimes what happens is you just say, F it, I'm not going to step on the scale, I'm not going to look in the mirror, I'm just going to say everything's okay and just go to sleep or turn on the TV and imagine things are fine, until reality just smacks you in the face and you can't do anything about it. And that's when people have that moment of, I need to change. But sometimes people put on their blinders for years and years and years until they're like 350 pounds, 300 pounds, or their marriage is about to be on a strike of divorce, or their business is about to collapse, or just everything's about to spiral, because they're in this constant cycle of shutting their eyes and pleasing themselves. It's like everything's fine, and they see a little glimpse of the reality, and then they eat something or medicate or have a drink, or you just don't want to hear from anyone who is telling you that things aren't okay, so you just brainwash yourself with the election and political, and you just watch online. Like, it's crazy the mental games that we can play whenever that happens. But whenever you have like a business lull, and then your discipline slips, it can so quickly spiral. So acknowledging it, I think, is step one, is that happens, is knowing that, all right, this has the potential. Also, I'm gonna say, like, remember that what we're doing here isn't just a short temporary thing. So give yourself some longer term goals to where if you have some little bumps in the road, it's going to be okay. Okay, like you can get through it. Your goal is to, which is why, getting posted on the Rising Father Instagram account and being like, okay, this is the transformation. I mean, that's a great goal to have. And then once you do that, we have other goals that we need to do, like going sober or bulking up or mastering other areas of our life. All of those, if you have large goals, then they can pull you through some of these times. So you had a couple of weeks off. Okay. First thing, we have to emotionally get over it, and just because it doesn't define you. Like this little mistake and failure that you're having right now, it just doesn't define you. And this is to Joe, this is to everyone who's listening. Like, you're going through a little downturn right now, it does not define you. Everyone here is worthy of being disciplined. You're worthy of an amazing life. The dagger to your heart is whenever you tell yourself it's not possible. It's like when you tell yourself, when you give up hope, that's whenever you truly self and there's little anyone can do for you. Is whenever you have no more self-belief. Like you have to be so used to getting back up on the horse that you just continually do it. You're just like, all right, I'm down right now. It's okay. Tomorrow I'm back up on the horse. Today I'm back up on the horse. I'm just going to immediately go out, get some steps in, get the sun on my face, feel good, put my face in some ice water. No, okay, so over the last month I gained 20 pounds. So maybe that's your situation. So maybe over the last month I totally and I gained 20 pounds. Guess what? Today you're not going to lose 20 pounds. It might take you 2 more months. But that can't stop you from doing what you have to do today. You have to be willing to take a little chunk out of that mountain today. Just take, okay, well, I'm going to feel good in the fact that I am so down right now, I took a step up. That's more powerful. It's harder to do. When the worse you're feeling, the stronger you are if you're able to take a step forward. Like you're so full of doubt, depressed, you're so down, you're so disappointed in yourself, you feel like such a failure. In that emotional state, can that guy go to the gym? If he can, he is extremely strong. He's got massive willpower. Like it's related to marriage. If you're just down in the dumps and you're just constantly trying over and over again to get together, and then you up, and like what Amar's talking about, but all of us have been here, every single one of us, and like you feel hopeless. Can that guy today tell his wife something he loves about her? If he can, man, is he a badass. Man, is he strong. He is stronger in that moment than the guy who's been doing it 100 times in a row and says it for the 101st time. The guy that's been doing it 100 times in a row has a better relationship with his wife, but the moment of strength is stronger when you're at your worst point. So just know that. Like if you're struggling right now and you're down, that if you can prove to yourself that being down won't define you, the resistance you're going through right now isn't going to control you. All you have to do is prove to yourself that you're still in the fight. That is the strongest version of you. That's you at your strongest. Not whenever you have the 10-pack. That's not you at your strongest. You're the strongest when you're at your fattest and decide to do something about it. Because whenever you go from 8% body fat to 7.9% body fat, that is a hell of a lot easier than going from 35% body fat to 34% body fat. And that after 10 years of yourself saying, today's the day I'm going to actually do something about it. Like that takes so much more strength than going from day 100 to 101. The guy that's super consistent and is on a roll is living an amazing life and feeling great and reaping the benefits. That is true. But I'm giving you a way to find strength if you're down right now. Okay, so if you are down right now, like find the strength in self-respect and self-pride in the fact that I'm going to do something today in my weakest point to prove to myself that I'm not as weak as this in my head is telling me that I am. Because there's an asshole in all of our heads that is telling us we're a weak failure. They're saying you can't do it. They're saying nothing's going to work out. They're saying you should give up now. You should just accept things as they are. What's the point? Do the easy road. Every one of us has an asshole in our head that's telling us that. As soon as you take a stand and fight that guy, you feel really good and strong. And then you got to then zoom out, shift your perspective, and say, well, if I think that way this month, next month, and for the next 12 months in a row, where am I going to be 12 months from now? Nowhere. Or I can ditch that toxic mindset and just say, okay, I'm willing to lose 5 pounds this month. If you do what we have you do, you'll lose a lot more than that. But just say you lose 5 pounds a month. 12 months goes by and you're way down below at the amount of what you have to lose. And then after that, after 12 months goes by, you've got another 40 years to live. So are you gonna throw your entire 40 years and the rest of your life out because you're not hitting your goal this month? Does that make sense? It's called shifting your perspective to improve your reality right now. It, and that's whenever we have these deadlines and results for ourselves, that's what we do to ourselves. We put so much pressure on ourselves, and then we don't do the things whenever we make a mistake, and we don't do the things necessary to hit those goals because we screwed up, we had too much cake or pizza, and we gained 5 pounds over the weekend, whatever it is. And we say, damn it, I'm back 5 pounds. What the point of hitting my macros and workouts this week? Because by the end of the week, I'm just going to gain 2 of those. I'm going to cut 2 of those pounds away. It's like, yes, compound the effects of having that thought over the next 12 months. What happens? You're up 50 pounds. You're back to where you started. Or you just say, it doesn't matter. I'm going to do the things I have to do anyway. Then 12 months pass and you're surpassed your goal. Many of us stay in that stuck, frozen place because we're like, well, if I don't have the result I want tomorrow, I'm not going to even start the journey. It doesn't work like that. It's like, no, if you're in business, how many extremely successful business people that are willing to share tell you, no, you go through years and years trying to build a successful, profitable business. And with me in the field that I'm in, you know how many guys reach out to me and they're like, tell me how you build a business. Tell me how you build an Instagram profile. And I'm like, well, how long have you been at it? They're like, 3 months. I'm like, okay. They're like, yeah, I'm on my 5th Instagram profile because I did it for 2 weeks and I wasn't at 1 million followers, so I quit and started over again. And I'm talking about Instagram. It goes the same for any business, or it goes for your health journey or stopping drinking. So many of us are in the health world right now, so that's what you can relate it to that. And I've been in those positions over and over again, where I will lose 15 pounds. This was like, before I actually had a system and understood how changing your identity can permanently change you. I would lose 15 pounds, and then I would gain back 10 pounds in like a week from sabotaging myself. And because of the disappointment and not being able to get right back to that spot the next day, I'd like say, F it. And then I'd let another 6 months go by. It's the attitude that f***s. But it takes so much emotional maturity to not do that. And it takes listening to things like this to have us understand we do that to ourselves and to ditch doing that. You're in this, guys are in this, at least in this program, for over a year now. This is a long thing. This isn't a 30-day shred. This is you trying to develop habits that will, for the rest of your life, let you be disciplined and live a great life. That's what this is. Over a year, you're going to go through something that's unexpected. It's like when I'm talking to a guy on a call about joining, and they're like, well, I don't know if I can start today because 5 months from now I might get a promotion. It's like, okay, what else is going to happen in your life for the next 12 months? 100 things you're not expecting. You have to be able to survive in the chaos, trust yourself, and just continually move forward. Just every single day, move forward. But thank you for those shares, because they were able to reveal some really good memories I had and some important lessons of whenever I struggled, of the revelations I had to have to get me out of that point in a permanent way. And that is, just because you're not hitting your goal today or tomorrow doesn't mean you don't start. And there's guys who need to lose 100 pounds, more than that. So every single day for the next year, you have to be willing to be okay not being at your goal. Can you do that? Can you suffer that? Or will you only be happy when you see an 8-pack? So where are you going to find your joy from? It can't be just the way you look in the mirror. It has to be, and it can't be from your family. Your family gives you joy, but that can't be the source of all your joy. Because it's not going to. What about when your wife's mad at you? What about when your kids are being assholes? If you get all your joy from external places like that, then you're just going to give up on yourself. It has to be from within. You have to find that peace and joy from within, so that you continually, day by day, do the things you have to do. You're going to have trying times. Don't be afraid to change your life on these calls, and don't be afraid to open up and be vulnerable and just really bare your soul to people. It's hard for some people, and if you've got an ego, it's all of us have egos. But if you've got a really tough ego, it's hard to put yourself in that position. I've heard people say things like, well, I don't like talking about the negative thing. I just like to be positive. Okay, everything's fine. Everything's great. There's nothing going wrong. No area to improve. If you have the balls, if you have the emotional fortitude to dig into yourself, then you can make massive progress. When I read my journals, I'm super tough on myself and descriptive with how I'm feeling. Because of that, I am able to remind myself of what I was going through, why I sabotaged myself, and not go back there. And none of us will ever get to a point where we're never battled and never tested, but it's like becoming that mindset, as you said, is becoming more of just who you are, and you're ditching some of those old self-sabotaging habits. Like you're the final goal is that you have a new identity and you live up to it. That's the final goal of this. It's creating a new identity. And because of that, you've kind of like detached the emotional and moral things and self-sabotaging tendencies from being able to do that. Because there's a huge difference of going on a date with your wife, having a cocktail, even having dessert, and like you can still do that and hit your macros. And even if you're a little over your macros, you come back and you're just, the next day you wake up, you do your workouts, you journal, you do everything. There's a difference between doing that and telling yourself you're going to do that, and telling yourself that the day before, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to have anything, then doing it, breaking the promise, and then because you feel you feel shame, you then start drinking more and eating more to heal that shame, and then the next day you feel like that is the toxic shame spiral that causes us that we're trying to break here. And the way you break that is by daily discipline. It's just by doing the things every single day so that you know that if I have a piece of pizza tonight, I'm not going to end up having 8. And I'm not going to, and hey, I planned it into my macros and I'm fine. Or say you're 300 something calories over your daily calorie limit. Oops. All right, I'm fine. The next day I'm just going to do 300 extra calorie burn of cardio or whatever it is, and I'm back to it. Ego, emotion, all of those, like despair, even depression, those are the things that crush guys permanently. And the way it shows up in here, sometimes you feel so bad about, like you proved to yourself finally for 4 months straight that you did it, and then you have a bad week, you put on 5 pounds, maybe start drinking, smoking again when you promised yourself you wouldn't, and you crush yourself. And don't just say, man, I'm getting right back on it. You know whenever you overdo it. Because whenever you think you overdo it, that's whenever you lose control. So we're talking about the difference between controlling what you're doing and losing control. I think one of the emotions that make us self-sabotage ourselves is thinking that we're just unworthy and thinking that we don't deserve it. Especially whenever we disappoint ourselves. Is you think like, I'm such a piece of shit screwing this up again. I don't deserve to live a good life. Like I don't deserve to be that happy. And it's all this self-judgment that you're like, I screwed up again. Maybe I can't do this. Maybe I can. Maybe I don't deserve it. Maybe this isn't for me. And it's all the self-judgment that you create that keeps you stuck in place. And it's like, well, do you want to believe that? Do you truly believe that? Does anyone else think that? Or if you asked your wife, what would she say to you? If you asked your daughter and son, what would they say about you? Would they say you're just a complete piece of you don't deserve anything? No. So who's thinking that? It's only you. Only you are thinking that. Know that, when you were a little kid, you had a vision of who you wanted to become. When you were a little boy, you had this vision of the man you wanted to be. Every single one of us, you can still become that man. We can still become that man. You deserve to become that guy. You have to love yourself, though. You have to love yourself enough to wake up early. You have to love yourself enough to do the business things you have to do to move your business ahead. If you're full of self-hate and self-loathing, you're not going to do the things you have to do to move your life ahead. You're going to stay stuck in that, I don't deserve it, so why would I punish myself? Like you're only willing to punish yourself for good of yourself if you love yourself. Because otherwise you're stuck in that cycle of, I don't deserve it, I'm a piece of shit, I'm just going to keep drinking and eating because what doesn't matter. So know that that is not true. Know that the only one who thinks that is the inside of you, and it's not true. It's just not true. You have to know that you're worthy of feeling amazing, of looking amazing. Looking amazing feels amazing, and of getting your business to where you want it to, having your marriage where you want it to. You're worthy of that. And every single one of us has made mistakes. Every one of us has done horrible things, failures, and it doesn't matter. That's not who you are. You are not the mistakes you've made. You're just a guy who's made mistakes. Your wife has made failures. Your wife has f***ed up. Your wife has made mistakes. She is not perfect either. Your wife is not her mistakes. She's someone who's made mistakes. We are not the mistakes we've made. You're someone who's made a mistake. It's your choice how you react to it. It's your choice what you do after that happens. So I can promise you, if today you need a pick-me-up, it is 100% in your hands how you feel an hour from now. If after this, if you feel like, if you had a bad weekend or whatever in any area of your life, and right now you're just not feeling it, it is 100% in your control how you feel 1 hour from now. So what do? I can't do it for you. No one in here can do it for you. Like, can open the door, but you have to be the one to walk through it. If you let yourself down, that already happened. The rest of your life is in front of you. What are you going to feel like 1 hour from now? What are you going to do as soon as this call ends? That is completely up to you and in your control. You can feel amazing and unbelievable. And when you do that, that's the start of the snowball. That's the start of the momentum. So don't put it in your head, well, I took back steps this weekend to the point where I am, I'm 2 months behind of my goal right now, whatever it is. So because of that, I'm not going to get 1 day ahead. Like I took 60 steps back this weekend, so I'm not going to get one of those steps back today. If you have that mindset, you will never get those 60 steps back and then move 100 steps above it. You got to think about like a mountain. You're trying to climb a mountain. You had a bad weekend or a bad week. If you zoom out, it's that little blip you had is imperceptible. You can't even see it. If you quit for a decade, you make that little blip a canyon. You have to just keep on climbing, keep on rising, and keep on doing the things you know you have to do. So every single one of us knows what to do to get us feeling good. Let's list some. Take a cold shower. Feel amazing. Journal. Feel amazing. And then, I'm not going to journal. I haven't journaled for 3 months because I don't know what to do. Take out a piece of paper, write down the sentence, I don't know what to journal. You just journaled. You mastered it. 100% A+. Good job. Tomorrow, maybe you'll write 3 sentences down. That's fine. Go to Google Docs, type voice to type, just look the room and speak what you see. You just journaled. Good job. 60 days from now, you'll be better at it, I guarantee. You're in a rut, you haven't worked out for 2 months, drop your ass on the ground and just hold a plank for 10 seconds. You just worked out. Good job. Then tomorrow, you'll do a little bit more. After you haven't tracked what you ate, take out your scale, measure some meat, eat it. You just track what you ate, do a little bit more tomorrow. Just take a goddamn step and watch how you feel. Well, I'm not down 100 pounds tomorrow, so I'm not going to. It doesn't matter. That is a mindset, self-sabotaging thought that it's hard to see if you're the one thinking it, but you have to believe other people and just not do it. I don't know. It's hard. Like if you're the guy who thinks that, it's hard to get out of that. Like if you live in that bubble where you're constantly thinking those thoughts, it's hard to get out of that. You just have to blindly trust someone and not do it. I had a dream, not like Martin Luther King, but I did have a dream last week where I just like rocked me out of sleep. And I woke up and I just had to record a podcast about it. So I just released the podcast where I talk about the dream. But I'm going to basically, on the visualization, I'll do it Wednesday. I'm going to take us through the dream I had, and we're all going to do it together. And I think it'll be really impactful and help once again shift our perspective on the daily decisions we make. Because after talking with us about these, maybe we'll make some different decisions today. And maybe after doing visualization exercises and talking about the importance of our daily actions, maybe we'll make different decisions that day, which is why we do this. All right, guys, we will call it there on Wednesday morning. I'm going to start off with a story about Nathan. He came back from a friend's house, and he had a really rough time. And he was like, I had to take him in a sauna. He was like weeping in my lap. And it's really rough. And I'm going to relate that to the visualization exercise. So that's what we're going to talk about Wednesday. I was going to do that today, but we'll hold off. Excellent shares, everybody, and I will see you in the group.